this morning to be a venture on the high dive with that much exhilaration at stake. Another metaphor we used was for them to consider this their I have a dream speech, or the last sermon they would ever preach. So these teenage leaders today are going to open their hearts, minds, souls, thinking, feeling, and lives to you. They are conduits of the grace-filled, awesome Spirit of God that swirls, refreshes, and blows through this All Saints faith community every day. So lean in, pray, receive, let yourself be touched and changed, and give thanks to God during this sermon. Olivia Mejia will preach now. This Tuesday she'll be graduating at the Hollywood Bowl from the Immaculate Heart High School. In September, she will enter Seattle University for college in the International Studies program and preaches at the 7:30 service because she and her family have to dash off to the baccalaureate service at Immaculate Heart later this morning. Will you warmly greet Olivia Mejia?
Good morning, and thank you so much for the warm welcome and this wonderful introduction. It's truly an honor to be here before you speaking this morning. Writing and delivering this sermon has been one of the most difficult things I've ever done. That says a lot, especially since I recently completed my last year of high school. I've been bogged down with papers covering topics ranging from cognitive dissonance and cults to the meaning of biblical names and ethnic women's literature, and so on. You would think coming up with a few meaningful pages of writing and somehow connecting a powerful message to today's gospel would be a piece of cake. But no, I was totally wrong. It has not been easy. Ed Bacon assigned me and the rest of my fellow high school seniors, as he mentions, a daunting task, which is to write our sermon as if it were our I Have a Dream speech. Pretty high standard. Trying to express words of gratitude and appreciation I have towards this community in such a limited space has also been incredibly challenging. Nevertheless, I am so honored to be here today. It has been a long journey here at All Saints, compiling and synthesizing different views on spirituality, social justice, and the meaning of community. I have been coming to All Saints for almost 8 years now, when my father, Olivia Mejia, decided to remarry my stepmother, Diana. She introduced me to this community. After a few months of going through confirmation services, my father converted from Catholicism and was confirmed as Episcopalian. Shortly after they were married, we regularly began to attend services here. Even at the young age of 8, I was reluctant and hesitant to attend because I was deviating from my traditional Catholic upbringing. I often refused to participate in Holy Communion well into my middle school years. I often refused, then in middle school, that's when I started to attend the All Saints Youth Program. And before I knew it, I became super enthusiastic. I joined Seekers, the confirmation program, as well as the Acolyte program here at All Saints. And now I'm proud to call All Saints my home. The influence of the many sermons, group discussions, and ministries here at All Saints has ultimately developed my love for service and social justice. Luke's gospel story in today's reading brings up some interesting points on the issue of social justice. The facet of this story that catches my eye is a simple question. What is it to begin with that draws Jesus to the centurion? I think it's faith. The centurion is clearly not a faithful member of the Jewish community. He's a foreigner. What is even more interesting is the fact that he's not just any foreigner, but part of an occupying military presence that was known to be oppressive and brutal at the time. The centurion has no religious standing with which to expect Jesus to honor his request. If anything, he has quite the opposite. The characterization that Luke offers of this enemy of Israel is faith that surpasses what Jesus even himself has seen in Israel, where you'd expect it to be. This made me wonder, maybe we should not be surprised by the unlikely places that faith shows up in our world. It could even show up in those whom we think are our enemies. This centurion is willing to take risk for what matters to him most, asking Jesus to heal a slave. Even though he doesn't really fit into Jesus' religious worldview and is not part of his people, the centurion still has this belief that there can be some healing power that can take place. Now, the centurion definitely doesn't go before him and say, "Jesus, I profess you to be the Son of God. Come heal my slave." The centurion just simply hears that Jesus is healing people and totally puts his trust into his hands. However, the centurion's faith is apparent in understanding of Jesus' God-given authority to heal and even do so from a distance. This passage shows that there are a lot of people, not just Christians, who are looking for healing, for the divine, and for growth. And Jesus doesn't evaluate those people based on their faith traditions. In fact, Jesus' healing power transcends class divisions and also ethnic, political, and religious viewpoints. Love is the act of putting the concerns above one's own. And this is a radical example of a Roman centurion willing to put the needs of the foreigners whom he polices above his own. Luke shows us that the Jews and Gentiles can in fact get along. And this ethnic and religious cooperation was revolutionary in ancient times, just as it can be today. Christ leads us to respect ethnic diversity and to work together across ethnic lines and religious ties so that we may all become part of the same community. Jesus does not see us as Roman, Jew, Gentile, but as human, not as soldier or leader or slave, but as neighbor. I believe that the kingdom of God, the peace of the human family, will be revealed when these human trappings of economic and political social status have ended. We need to be as radical as Jesus and the centurion were in his time. The gospel passage can be rather troubling for some Christians in some ways, including myself, because it can be interpreted as a justification for slavery in some cases. And I wonder why Jesus doesn't condemn the centurion for having a slaver, or why Jesus might say, "Okay, maybe I'll heal your slave, but by the way, don't have a slave, it's a bad thing." Yet another interesting and unanswered question this passage poses is, maybe Jesus' attitude towards the centurion and his role as a public figure. This guy has about 100 people under his rule and represents the occupation by the Romans. So what's Jesus' attitude towards military authority? But I have learned that All Saints, it's okay to be left with unanswered questions. We don't know, or we don't act as if there are right or wrong, answers, and we don't have to believe the same things in some cases. In fact, my entire family decided to leave the Catholic Church and seek refuge here at All Saints for that exact reason. We decided to come to All Saints because we believe that love, in some cases, is much more important than dogma. All Saints has provided us with so much in just accepting and respecting our different backgrounds and traditional upbringings. And this is the place where my family has received, but also has given a lot of comfort, support, and sustenance. So we don't always know if we have the answers, let alone the right answers. But the important thing is the faith that we share in this special place. It has at least seen me through dark times. It has opened our faith and it involves shouldering a lot of heavy responsibility. And for me, that means to think, to feel, and believe for myself. And that when I think I've got it all worked out, whether it's taking a stance on a particular political issue or picking apart some obscure part of the Bible that can be perverted by some Christian denominations, I have to tell myself to take a deep breath and to get down to work in expanding myself beyond that. It's difficult, but it's also often joyous. But I do it because I have to. I know that our conscience requires that kind of challenge, and I have learned that here. Straight out of confirmation, I was inspired to become a pioneer of change, to challenge my teacher about papal infallibility in middle school, and I tried and failed to establish a so-called controversial Gay-Straight Alliance Club at my Catholic high school. I have been challenged to put words into action, to go against the norm, and to stand up for what is right. Just like the Roman centurion went out of his way to do what was necessary for a slave. fundraise for an important cause, or bring awareness to the parish on important political and social issues. Members of this community are the helpers, the peacemakers, the men and the women who go past convenience and convention for the sake of making a difference. The All Saints community motivates us to create our own solidarity with others, especially those who cannot speak for themselves. We are the ones traveling with flashlights and candles in hand, in hope of bringing light to some of the darkest places on earth. As a graduating senior, I will continue the intent of the All Saints community. I believe that I have an innate burning desire for change and empowerment of the disenfranchised. So I'd like to say thank you to each member of this congregation, staff, and clergy member for encouraging me not to settle and to question, for giving me the tools I need to start my own radical journey. You inspire me to achieve my full potential, challenge the norm, ask important questions, and help me find and strengthen my voice in following the example of Christ. This community is where that I learned that if I am faced with adversity, or if I witness injustice, to not simply go quietly into the night, but take a stand and become a symbol